what many people actually in the past did, that they used their political offices for the advantage, even if you want or do not want it, because you're, as a politician, or if you hold office, let, let's say you hold office in the financial uh, ministry or the financial department or whatever, then you have access to knowledge where other people uh, may not have, and this knowledge then, after your political career or after your career as a bureaucrat, you can use for your advantage. I mean, this does not mean all. This is not all about illegal stuff. Nevertheless, a lot of things happened illegally, uh, and with this, there comes, of course, a lot of issues. But don't make a mistake about it. I mean, of course, some political immunities or privileges are very important for a society to work. I mean, especially for parliamentarian immunity, if it is used correctly, this is rather being considered some sort of a protection, especially a protection as for a representative uh, who is or could be threatened by the majority or could be cornered by the majority. This person has an immunity, because this is what pretty much happens very often if you are some sort of on the wrong side of the road, or if you are being hated for your beliefs or whatever, then people used to start some false trials for and so on, or you are being indicted wrongly. This happens very often. This happened to me. If people hate you for whatever reasons, then they will try to use those institutions against you. So in that sense, especially if you are a minority representative in a parliament, whatever, then it makes indeed sense that you have some sort of immunity. But nevertheless, this immunity does not mean that you should uh, pursue criminal conduct like attempted murder or breaking into someone's homes and so on. This would be a misunderstanding. This is where we have to clearly draw the line, so you cannot use this immunity, or it goes past its purpose when you use your immunity, political immunity, to try to assassinate people or hamper and tinker with the law, or even destroy someone's lives and whatsoever, just for the sake you can. This is, of course, wrong. This is something which has nothing to do with reality. But in our case, political privileges can as well as go beyond the sheer political aspect. I mean, think about this is what's happening in Austria, for example. There was a scandal where politicians would get cheap houses and so on, or would have special contracts. Think of some politicians who buy homes very cheaply and so on, get special offers, special deals. I mean, of course, your popularity and so on contributes to that as well, or your knowledge, because you happen to work in a department and so on, and you oversaw it, and so on. And of course, the most evident point of these political privileges are, especially if you're when it comes to one's families. I mean, this is what is happening actually very often. So that if one politician or bureaucrat makes it, he tries to immediately install his family members or friends into the apparatus. I mean, this can be, in one hand, trust. I mean, you want to, especially in politics, you cannot trust anyone, and hopefully you can trust your own family, but this is not always the case, so they always bring in family members and so on. But what we talked about the last time was some sort of a social immunity. This is besides the legal immunity. This means a social immunity would mean that a politician or a political person in public does something wrong which is not illegal in terms of law, but rather morally controversial or indeed very questionable. I mean, this can be if you are a leftist or a socialist and so on, and then you act racially, or you take part in racial slurs, even in racial lynchings and so on, but yet your peers, your political party members, however, excuse your behavior. It is excusable for, as well, in one hand, as part of a group identity, everything is allowed as long as it helps to smash the enemy. This is, especially in the politics, very important. It is always about winning against other people, destroying other people, smashing other people, but as well as it can be considered some sort of as no big deal because this person is allegedly known or part of a special group and so on. I mean, of course, this happened in Austria as well, as that some politicians were so controversial that you actually did not know their real mindset, and then later when they came in power, especially when they had real power, this became really scary. So this means, as well as this social immunities, as well as a cover up, so that you then do not know what is really going on. And the last privilege I wanna talk about is racial. This is I wanna talk about it in the last sector, because not because it is not important, or quite the contrary. It is the most important issue, and it is the most talked about issue right now in society and so on. But if we would start with it, then it would be some sort of dominating, because it is so important. It is a political cleavage. This means that it is well known in the society. It is some sort of conflicted and highly debated in the society, and this is of course that of course some people are excused or have access to special resources according to their skin color. Again, for this we have very evident statistics. Statistics show that, for example, in North America, people with a black skin color have over proportionally low income, as well as they live in special areas, and that they even have no access. Also, that is even written some books about it, so that there is a clear barrier that people who do not have, or for people with black skin color, that they are barred from moving into some neighborhoods and so on, so that some sort of white people, especially in North America, would create an enclave in order to protect themselves, to protect themselves from any migrants and whatsoever. And this, of course, is with the understanding that some people are just inferior. I mean, especially in Austria and Germany, it is always that it is there you have this presumption that migrants, especially migrants from the Middle East, I'm I am from the Middle East, that migrants from the Middle East, that they would not contribute anything to the German culture, and that they would be rather undermine it. But then if migrants really accomplish something in the German culture, this is rather contributed to Germans, to Austrians, to white people, whereas all what's been considered as bad, even if it is among white people and so on, this is always contributed to migrants. So if a migrant some sort of contributes something to this culture, this is immediately whitewashed. So white people claim these accomplishments for themselves, and whereas everything that's been bad or is not undesirable is been attributed to foreigners, because in Germany as well as in Austria, the societies indeed, especially migrants, are separated in desirable and undesirables, and those who are desirables, some way they are Christian, they are assimilated and of course subordinated. This is very important, because this is what I experienced in Austria, for example, that those Austrians, they grow up with the notion that migrants and all especially from the Middle East or Africa or whatsoever, that they are subordinated to them, that they are inferior to them, and there it is this natural order that the Austrian or German should always be in the lead. And this made it, for me, for example, very difficult to work with Austrians and German, because they always thought that they would be my superior, that I would be the one who needs help and so on. I mean, this is what they always say. So in that sense, this and it had some dire consequences. I mean, this is when Austrians, they had this force always to pretend that they were my superiors. I mean, they always would run around and dress up as whatever you were, think, and then stand in front of you and pretend that they would be your superior, because so that they can assure themselves that their world is still in peace, or that their world is still fine, so that they can live with themselves and so on, so that this Aryan race is still in power. This Aryan race is still in charge. This was indeed the case in the university. This was the case among leftists. So this was not all far right and so on. This was really within the left, so that always this white leftist elite, they always had to be in charge. They always put themselves about migrants. They needed this, and you could see when they did not get what they want, then they would all become very violent, aggressive, and then would do every kinds of stuff. This was one of the reasons why I was called arrogant, or that I would not show respect. This actually meant not showing respect. Actually meant that I would not care about this perceived natural order of Austrians and Germans who are or should be above me, and that I should subordinate myself to them. However, this was my podcast today on this hot July day in Turkey, Ordu. I hope you are doing fine in this pandemic, and stay safe. Bye.